What else happened this week? Oh, the lamb.
Oh,
that was a big thing. I made a post about that.
Yeah, that was good.
So we butchered. Well, we slaughtered and butchered 3 withers this week. And that was a super cool experience.
Oh, nice.
There were 2 of them were 2 years old roughly, and one of them was a year old, less than a year old.
Yeah, 9 months or something. 8
and
months.
so like the 2-year-old technically is
mutton,
but my God, that thing was unbelievable. Oh. It looked so good when it was butchered.
It's so much pearly white fat on it.
I rendered a bunch of
dark meat,
lamb fat, and there was good marbling on one of those big ones. Whew, so good. It was really cool because we butchered them ourselves, or we skinned and gutted them.
We did everything ourselves.
Yeah, and then when we went to butcher them, one of Jan's friends and her husband came over, and they buy a whole lamb from Greg and Jan every year, and they butcher it themselves at their home. And so they're very particular about the way that they cut their lambs up. And so Greg wanted to see how they did it, and so they came over, and we all, the big group of us, all did all the withers. And the first one took about an hour and a half because it was a lot of not knowing what cut to make and waiting for instruction. And then the second 2 probably took less than 30 minutes apiece.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
they took the second 2 took less time than the first one.
Yeah.
The second 2 combined
took less time than the first one that we did. It was so cool, seeing how all those cuts get put together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Greg made a YouTube video, or he shot a YouTube video. I don't know if he posted it or not yet, but that's on the horizon.
Yep.
He actually did 2. I don't know if he's gonna post the first one or not. Probably, but
yep.
Yeah, it was super cool. I've butchered and processed pigs and venison and chickens before. Not growing up. That's what we did. We've never done a lamb, and we've never done cuts of meat. We've always just with a pig we made pork chops, boneless pork chops or whatever. And sometimes we'd leave the bone in and we had a little bandsaw. But most of the time it was get the chops, maybe a ham, and then just grind the rest up.
Yep.
And maybe a few roasts. And same way with the venison. The venison, it was more grind everything up except for the tenderloins, and maybe a few roasts. So doing walking through where the cuts of how to get lamb rib chops or lamb sirloin steak or leg of lamb, that was super cool.
Super cool.
It was so much fun and something that we're gonna remember how to do now.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Once you know where all the cuts are supposed to go, it just goes. It's just getting the instruction to know where to make the cut, where to make the saw, what joint you're looking for, that type of a deal.
Yeah.
And of course there's there's so many different ways you could butcher one. And it's we learned one way.
Yeah,
but
if you wanted different cuts, you could do it totally different.
Yeah, but the way that we learned was super simple, and it was a lot of fun.